What's good, guys? Mookie here with Kristin. We're going to be going over some core and conditioning movements. If you guys want to follow along with us, you're going to have to head over to her channel. We're going to actually be doing the workout there, but she's going to be breaking down some technique on what we're going to be doing. I'm always a big believer in technique and doing things correctly. If you're not doing it right, you're going to eventually hurt yourself, or you're not going to get the full results that you want out of the workout. So Kristin, what are we going to be doing today for the workout in your video, and what are we going to break down in terms of the core movements?
So in the workout on my channel that you guys are going to be able to find later tonight, we're going to have a 10-minute core and cardio workout. And what it's going to be is it's going to be 5 core movements, and we're going to superset those to movements that are going to get your heart rate up. So it's going to be a fun little workout that you guys can throw in at the end of some of your other workouts. As far as today, right now with you, we're going to go over what is your core, why do we want to make sure we're using it properly, and then the movements to actually use it properly.
Awesome, guys. So stay tuned. We're going to get those 5 core movements for you guys and get this going. Okay, guys, so we're about to start going over the technique and how to do these movements correctly. This is something that's super important to me. I don't know if some of you guys might know. You look on my Instagram, I have had a hernia. I've had lower back issues. And it all stems from me not using my core properly when I'm lifting heavy weights. And in general, just moving and doing any type of physical activity, you want to learn how to use your core.
Absolutely. There's a reason why we call it the core, and the core is the foundation of our body. And the core is not just the ab lines that you see on all these aesthetic people. The core is really your ab muscles, your glutes, your lats, and how everything contracts together. So we're going to go right into the floor. I'm going to have Mookie jump right now on the floor.
On my back?
On your back.
Just do it.
So before we do that, I'm going to give these guys a little bit of a example of what the core is. So the number one thing that we hear, not the number one thing, but definitely up there is, I have a bad back, or I have a back injury. And typically, our back will pick up loads, or will endure a lot of load if we're in what's called an anterior pelvic tilt, which means my hips are slightly turned under and my hips face backwards. So what we're going to do is learn how to bring our core, or activate our core, and bring our hips and pelvis back under into a neutral position and bring our rib cage down, in which case now these muscles that make up my core can properly contract and brace and hold my body in position. So that way when I move and I go about my movements, my core is now keeping my back muscles and spine upright or in a straight position, and my back muscles aren't picking up the load when I go to do stuff, causing that back pain.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not always the case, but a lot of times this is the case, is that the core is not used properly, which leads to injury, back pain, all sorts of things. All right, mister, you ready?
Yeah, what's the first movement?
So the first thing we're going to do, Mookie's down here on all fours right now, where he's on his back. The first thing we're going to do is do pelvic tilt. So I want Mookie to take his pelvis, he's going to rotate it, so he's going to basically make a big arch like he's a girl on the beach sticking her belly up. So make a big arch in your back, keep your buns on the floor. So I want you to make a big arch so there's room in your back. Yep, and now I want you to think about pulling your belly button into your spine and taking away that arch. Yep, so now we're going to make that big arch. Don't pick your buns up, keep your buns on the ground. Keep your buns on the ground. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to arch, take it away.
Okay.
Arch, take it away. Yep, and I want you to do that 10 times. So right now what we're doing is we're starting to try and fire those glute muscles. Yep, we're just trying to feel what those guys even are. It's called your pelvic floor.
Which is crazy because I always tell Kevin how when I'm doing a lot of movements, I can barely feel my glutes activating, so I do a lot of glute activation work as well.
Yeah, so glute activation and core activation is going to be absolutely crucial for all of you guys training. Those are the foundations of our movement, so if you're not using those guys, you're probably not using all of the right muscles as much as you should be. Good,
Right,
so we're going to do
10.
10 of those. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take an arch, create a big arch,
Okay.
and we're going to take it all away. Now I want you to bring your knees and stack them directly above your hips. So tabletop position, we call this tabletop position. So Mookie's going to keep his knees directly above his hips and keep his toes pulled back towards him. You should feel some pressure in here.
Oh yeah.
Now if you pull your knees back over your chest, you're going to actually loosen up the core. So what we want to do is keep our knees either directly above our hips and hold, or slightly out in front of us and hold. That's going to put optimal tension on the core right now. Can you feel that?
Oh yeah.
Good, now I take both hands and reach this guy. So all we're going to do is do this for 15 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds. It's called an isometric hold.
I'm already sweating, guys.
3, 2, and let it go. Good, so you can feel everything working now, correct?
Oh yeah.
So the common thing that we see is go ahead and do that without activating your core first. Yep, so do you feel anything working?
I feel like way more pressure on my lower back.
Right, because what happens is that arch is still there, which means our pelvic floor and our lower core muscles aren't actually doing their job. Okay, so that's why it's really imperative that we actually pull our belly button into our spine, which takes that arch out, and then we bring our knees above our hips.
Yeah, no, and like this is crazy for me because when I do a lot of my leg raises and different exercises, I won't remove that arch, so I'll literally just sit down and go straight into it. So this is something that's like going to be really beneficial for me to know as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is how we avoid injury. So we want to make sure our back's not doing the work and our core is actually doing the job that it should be doing. Yep. So knees up, hands straight up. Yep. All we're going to do is, and I want you to take your pinkies out and turn them in, like your lats are turned on, like you're doing a lat pull down. Perfect. So now his lats are working, his abdominals are working, everything is working right now. And again, 10-second hold, we're just teaching the brain how to fire all of these muscles together. Almost there. Oh.
We'll go.
3, 2, and relax. Awesome job.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yep.
So now we've talked about the importance of core activation, and that's to prevent injury and also make sure we're getting optimal movement and using the base of our body. Second part is what is core activation, right? Which is taking those pelvic floor muscles, making sure they're in the proper place, which is directly in line with their hips, and bringing our rib cage down. So we don't want to round into it. We just want to bring our rib cage down. Now I'm properly braced.
Yep.
We've done the first movement there. Are we ready to go over the moves for our exercise today, our workout today?
Yep. Let's get it.
Let's go.
All right.
The first core movement we're going to be doing in the workout is what I call heel taps. So Mookie's going to go into an all-four position. So on his back, he's going to go ahead and tuck his core in position, bring his arms straight up, and he's going to take now one heel at a time, keeping that core in that brace position, and tap one heel down, very controlled, down to the ground, and come right back up. Perfect. Opposite side. Good. So these are what we call heel taps. Mookie's going to keep going. We'll be doing this as our first movement in today's workout. Awesome job. Our second core movement, great job. You're going to roll over onto all fours, and we're going to be doing what's called bear hold. So essentially, we're going to take that same quadriplegic position.
Okay. And then about bracing my core, like focus on tucking and same thing.
Correct. So now that we're in this position, make sure you bring your belly button under. Yep. And so it's going to almost look like an arch, like a tiny arch in that back. It shouldn't be flat, and our butt should not be above our hips. So keep the core tucked. Now from here, we're going to come up onto our toes. Yep. And hover. Bring the knees down just above. There we go. So now keeping our belly button tucked into our spine, keeping our rib cage pulled down. You feel a lot of tension right here?
Oh yeah.
We're either going to hold, or in today's workout, we're going to be doing what's called bear taps. So Mookie's going to practice tapping each shoulder without letting his hips move from side to side, so that core is fully engaged. Yep. Now, how are these?
Oh my gosh. The second I go to the tap, I feel how unstable I am. And
Yeah.
like Kristin was saying right there, she doesn't want my hips moving when I do that. And right when the first time I did it, my entire body shifted to the right.
Absolutely. So you want to keep that core compressed.
All right, cool.
Awesome job. Our next one, scissor kick. So we're going to go back onto our back. And what we're going to do is, here's how we're going to figure out our position for this movement. We're going to take our belly button, pull it into our spine. So we're going to essentially take away that arch that we naturally have. Now we're going to extend our legs straight out, maintaining that position. Now, Mookie, I can feel you come off the ground a little bit here. So let's go ahead and retuck.
Good.
Retuck. Now extend your knees straight out. Send the feet straight out. Higher. Higher, higher, higher. We don't want to come out of that position. So this essentially is a position that forces isometric hold here again. All we're going to do now is cross our feet over and hold that position. Now the lower his feet come, the harder it's going to be because it's going to put more pressure on that core to hold the weight of the legs. So again, you want to extend your feet as high as you need to in order to maintain that brace core. These are called scissor kicks. So you can lower your legs, but if you do and that arch comes back to your back, your legs are too low. Your core can't support that.
Yep.
So work your way down over time. Don't force it, all right?
Yep. Oh my gosh, guys, it's crazy just like going over little techniques like this, because when I do these movements, I see other people do it, they're never bracing or tucking, they just start going, and you could like see if someone's skinnier, their arch is literally on their back when they're doing the raises.
Yeah, you see a lot of these movements done improperly on a lot of channels and a lot of Instagrams out there. Not that I'm perfect, but you guys will feel the difference.
Yeah,
And your back will thank you.
Yeah, I can already feel it.
All right, the next one's going to be a plank reach through. So Mookie's going to come into a high plank position. So high plank position, yep.
That's push-up position, right?
Correct, push-up position. Now Mookie, you're going to take your right arm and you're going to bring it under towards me. Reach through, and now you're going to open up into a windmill and face away. Opposite side though. So if you reach through with the right, yes, you're going to come all the way through towards me with that side.
So reach.
Reach, rotate the hips, and extend up and open. Good. And then back to a high plank position, bring the hips down. Good, now opposite side.
Reach.
Try not to move so much through here. You got it, try not to reach. So reach through the shoulder blade and extend up. Good. And rotate sides. Good, so we want to eliminate as much as we can of the movement through this area.
Yeah.
You got it. That's a hard one, you have to work your way up to that one.
Yep, and so that's like when I'm doing that movement, I'm literally feeling my hips come on the rotation.
Yeah, so that's where you want to stabilize. So in a plank reach, you're going to stabilize your hips and use your upper rib cage to rotate.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
That's a good job, though.
Thank you.
All right, our last one, we're going to be coming down onto all fours, so go ahead and lay back on your back.
Oh.
I'm sorry, on your side, or on side plank. So go ahead and face the camera. So here's how I'm going to start this. I'm going to start this in a beginner variation. So what I want you to do is lay all the way flat. Lay flat, just like that, model pose, Mookie model. There we go. So notice his shoulders, hips, and knees are in alignment. Go ahead and fold your knees back behind you now. And again, as we fold, we're still going to keep our knees, hips, and shoulders in alignment. And all I'm going to do now is come up onto my elbow and take my hips straight to the sky. Come up on our elbow and hips straight to the sky. Our goal in this position, this is a side plank, is to still keep the knees, hips, shoulder in perfect alignment. So there shouldn't be my hips back behind here in a zigzag. We're going to go all 3 points straight. Now the variation to this is our beginner variation, would be to extend the feet out. You can come up onto the elbow. That's our next one. And then our last variation would be to come all the way up onto the hand.
Onto the
All
hand.
the way up onto the hand. Woo, look at that. Great job, and all the way back down. Good job. All right, you guys, so those were our 5 movements. You guys can catch those in our core and cardio workout on my channel later tonight. Mookie.
Guys, we're literally doing an instructional video, and I'm dripping in sweat. I held these poses, the movements for maybe like 2 to 3 reps, so I know this workout's gonna be no joke, but please guys, go use the information, the workouts Kristin puts out. They are amazing. They will help you burn fat. They'll help you get your belly fat down. These are simple things that I'm doing on my own, and like for instance, like I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That plank twist through, I've never done that movement, and right now, it's one of those things, like it's almost like an ego, you know, like I feel like I can't do it. It's like I really want to get better at it and improve, so I just love getting knowledge and doing things that I haven't done or I'm not used to, because that's how you challenge yourself physically and that's how you grow. But anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.